but I'll just say my body went Mach 5 forward and my finger went Mach 6 backwards. So,
see, it's good.
Can everybody, I really can't see it, but the front row, can you see that little lump on my finger? That's what happens when a guest steps on you. You slide by them. That's actually the worst and probably one of the only injuries I've ever had sliding in all my years, so I've been fortunate.
So mine is not really slider related, but I was sliding. If anybody's familiar with knots in front of birdcage, there used to be the bottom shop. And I used to sit up against that big glass door when I was spawn, and you wouldn't be able to see me. And I would hurl myself off those 5 steps into a slide. And what I would do is, to be quick, I have a big ass. I would push myself off the door repeatedly and joke often. Well, one night I went like this, I heard glass shatter, and I fell backwards. And I sat on the ridge of the door. 2 days in extreme pain, and we have pictures of this, a female hot monster with my pants down, pulling shards of glass out of my butt. That is absolutely 100% true, I swear.
Family entertainment here as he's screaming. All right, Veronica, you're up.
Trying to pick just one is difficult. All right, I'll use a recent one. So, I was running to do a distance jump during one of our Decay Brigade shows, and I heard a pop, and it felt like my shoe had come untied. And so I just quickly glanced down, like, no, the shoe, like, it's all duct tape, of course, there's no shoelaces. So I'm like, oh, well, that's intact. And I take another step, and I start to feel my foot, like, not participating in the event anymore. I'm like, something is really wrong, and I'm already running full speed, so I'm like, well, we're in it now. So I hit the ground like I'm supposed to, and I jump, and I've lost a lot of speed at this point, but everything's happening so fast, I didn't really notice. And so I landed completely on everybody that was laying down, and that part's actually pretty normal, it wasn't that bad, but I went to stand up, and then I fell back down. I'm like, something's really wrong. And so I hobbled my happy ass off the stage, and then I took off my shoe, and my whole foot was very swollen. And I realized after a trip to the ER that I had ruptured my plantar fascia while running. Just, who does that? It was really embarrassing, and it's still messed up, but but so yeah, that's one for me.
This is exactly why I don't do shit. All right, Jordan.
Yeah, like I said, it's hard, like you said, to figure it out, but the first one came to my mind was, so HH in Orlando, where there are no sliders. It was the Purge Scare Zone. My character, I was a chainsaw scare actor, but my character for some reason was given 187 knee pads. And they gave it to the person that they probably shouldn't have given it to, because I was the one that was like, oh, this is gonna be fun if I can get away with this. And one night my chainsaw broke, and they said, just go out there and scare normal. And I said, absolutely, I got this. So I go out there, and again, there are no sliders at HH in Orlando, so I just start sliding. And I'm doing my thing, people are freaking out because they don't know what the hell is going on. Little did I know, down in the New York Scare Zone Street, there was a gentleman, as we all know, guests can be very lovely at these events. He punched the scare actor, and because the scare actor brushed his girlfriend's shoulder, I found the story out later, and the police that were there were right there inside. He took off running. I am going full speed sliding across the street of this scare zone, and this man is running down the opposite end of the scare zone, and you all know what happened. Completely took each other out. Completely. That's not the worst part. We take each other out, I look up, and all I see is the red dots of a taser. On me and him. There's so much fog, and there's so much dark. They didn't know who was, they just had their tasers out. I went, oh shit. Rolled myself away, and I just hear the taser go off and hit the guy. And it was just, the whole zone went like berserk. But yeah, that was probably my craziest life out while assisting in a super guest that we all know who they are.
And this is why I don't do shit.
Chris!
Alright, this is the end of last season. Second to last weekend. Right at the beginning. Opening area. Go out for a slide. Hop up. Two of us, we weren't communicating. I jumped up and I landed on his foot and my ankle was done. I was just hobbling. For the rest of the night, I went backstage, and you know what? Duct tape is our friend, and duct tape held me up for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And it was rough. But then we're doing the slider show, so I was hobbling around with duct tape, but we made do. That was a painful last couple weekends. But that taser, I don't know, can't beat that.
That guy didn't get
Crazy, crazy stories. Now, we joked about it, we talked about wipeouts and things like that. But actually, the art of sliding is super precision. And it may not have been in the beginning, but now it has evolved into something that's really, really intense. And we're going to show you, in just a minute, we're going to show you some video of what it has become today. But it's also become community, right? It's not just one, it's not just knots, it's not just, something like We Marry, it's kind of gelling. And we're seeing groups come together for the first time too, which is really great. And so we're just going to kind of go through some of these group shots here, all over the U.S.
Look at all those ladies. Woo.
And that's not even all the ladies that, but that is, most of the team.
And let's get it out of our system now. Who's pissed off that We Marry the dark carpet's gone?
Yeah.
I am.
COVID messed up everything. All right. We know these guys. Who's going to come next summer to Long Beach and see them? All right. We've got a date. All right, let's take a little video and take a look at what goes into haunt training these days, sliding training. Let's talk about this event real quick. We've got about 15 minutes. We're going to talk about this and we're going to try to get a few questions. So tell us about this, Scott.
You want to talk about this event here that we did?
Yeah, let's talk about it. This was pretty special when it's all went down.
This event here, it was called Sliders Unite Breaking the Stigma. And we called it Breaking the Stigma because all the years leading up to this thing is that there's always been a lot of animosity between factions, between other parks and factions within the same event. So this was actually an event that was 10 years in the making. Lee Cooper, Evil, he left Knott's and went to Dark Harbor, and he and I started talking about developing a show like this. And then in 2016, he comes over to Scary Farm, and we started talking. He's like, you remember the event that we started talking about? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, it's gonna happen, I need you, let's put this together. So once we got this thing rolling, I talked to Paul and a couple of guys at Brigade to bring them in. I brought some people in from Scary Farm and Universal. We didn't have contact with people from Six Flags at the time, so we didn't have anybody in there. But this is a special event because we wanted to break down the walls for people to understand. It's like, it doesn't matter what venue you work at, whether you're a slider or not, we're all a community. We need to be more supportive of each other so the community grows stronger and becomes better and not breaks itself down because everybody's fighting. That was our big thing with that. And I'm stoked. This is probably the biggest accomplishment in my entire slider career, to be able to put something like this together.
Yeah. The world needs more of that, I'll tell you that. So what we'd like to do is, I know that you guys have questions, so we're going to open up the floor a little bit. We have a little bit of time. Feel free to ask any question you've ever wanted to ask of a slider. We have a mic over here. We have another mic. We got a mic over here, so whatever's closest to you, don't be shy. Come on up and ask away. Come on, there's got to be somebody with a question. Oh, you're all just sitting there staring. Here we go. Here they come. Here we go. Are we creeping out of the seats? Here we are. All right.
Just want to say I love all you guys. Appreciate everything you guys do. My question, I guess, would be more for Scott. You know, in your advanced age, how do you
I knew it was coming.
I'm being serious. In your advanced age with sliding and the toll it takes on your body, what specifically do you do to help the joints and everything like that to be as good as you are?
Well, that's a long list, but I'll just shorten it up. First thing is you gotta have decent eating habits, sleep patterns, and you have to constantly be working the muscles that you use for sliding on a regular basis. And when I say that, it's not just about going to the gym and lifting heavy, okay? Because that doesn't do it. The easiest way to explain it is when you lift heavy, you create muscles that are good for short bursts of strength, and they become shorter fibers. If you do high intensity exercises, more resistance training, that creates muscle fibers that are a little bit longer, they're more flexible, and they're more conducive to the type of things that we do. If you don't do that, you're gonna get a lot of injuries. And for me, starting back then to now, I've done all these things experimenting on myself, and I continue to do that to this day, so I can stay healthy. I can still slide about 95% capacity of what I did when I was in my 20s.
Damn.
Yeah. And I've been fortunate now to be able to pass that knowledge on to other people.
So if I could touch on that, I coached basketball and I played a lot of